been a while, guys. It's been a while. Do I remember how to start these? Not so much. Do you guys remember how these started? Maybe not. I'm banking on it. I'm banking you don't. So this is going to start pretty fresh. If memory serves, I'm pretty sure I started with a weather update, which it's currently, I guess it's still technically fall, but we do have snow. It's negative 16 Celsius. If any Fahrenheit users are out there, um, maybe you'll have to do the conversion yourself if you want. Maybe you know the conversion. Maybe you're just on top of it of having to convert Celsius all the time, which I know you probably don't. If you haven't looked it up by now, it's +2 Fahrenheit. That other situation that we didn't want to talk about, but briefly mention, hint at, it's less of a thing, still a thing, but less of a thing. I actually had it a couple weekends ago, which was pretty cool. I had a sore throat, probably the shortest sore throat I've ever had in my life. It was pretty short in the grand scheme. It was like 3 days. I guess one night is when I started to feel it, and then it kind of pushed through the weekend. But yeah, it was gone 100% by like Monday night. Tuesday morning, 100% gone. I felt 100%. I had a very light version of this thing that we're not going to say by name, but come on, everybody knows what it is at this point. Other than that, food updates. What have I been eating? I've been eating a ton of ground meat, goose to be exact. Just kind of, as is. Taco seasoning, throw in spaghetti sauce or whatever for a sloppy Joe effect. Just messing with the meat. Maybe I start a cooking show. Maybe I call it Messing with Meat. May not be the most respectful to my vegan, vegetarian listeners, but if they want a clever cooking, eating food show with vegetables and fruits, if there's a clever name, I'd love to hear it. Before I get too far into this, I'd like to give a shout out to DeBoy Camera OP. Requested a shout out, and that one's for him. If anybody else wants a shout out at all, just drop a comment, hit me up in the DMs, if you will. If you got me anywhere, hit me up. I'll give you a shout out. And yeah, is that fun? Maybe it is. You guys still digging that intro track? It's not bad. Kind of sets the mood for everything. What time of day do you guys listen to this at? Is it a morning thing? An evening thing? I typically record in the evenings so you can kind of get a perspective on it. I recorded one in the morning because I was kind of running late on recording, and I just wanted to give it a shot and see, because I wanted to get it out. I wanted to get it out for you guys, because we were keeping it pretty tight, and then life comes at you fast. Started new medication. That's a thing. It's been a journey. It's been, I think, 6 to 8 weeks, somewhere in there. Somewhere when we should start to see changes, or that it's working, which I see. The thing that sickness that I ended up getting, if finally took long enough, everything kind of started happening around that time, that my mood and mentality started to change a little bit, for the better. And I don't know if it's the medication working, which possibly it's been long enough, or if that sickness affected my brain more than the rest of me. Because the other people that I know that have gotten it, they've just kind of gotten sick and they're back to being them, as where I've noticed the difference, and actually many other people have kind of noticed the difference. Like not for the for the worse. I talk more. So maybe depending on who it is, maybe it is for the worse. But I think it's for the better overall, because then it's not just talking to the same old people more. Like I do that, but I'm talking to just strangers more. Trying to pump them up, trying to let them, trying to give them a good time, and try and brighten their day, or distract them from their day, whether or not it's brightened from having to deal with me. If it's not brightened from having to deal with me, it's brightened when the conversation ends and they can hang up the phone or they can walk away and get some peace and quiet. Either way, there's a brightening happening at some point, which totally understandable. Totally understandable. Another thing I wanted to kind of touch on again is the sounds that invoke the full body response. There's a word, actually, I was speaking with another individual, misophonia. People with misophonia are affected emotionally by common sounds, usually those made by others, and usually ones that other people don't pay attention to, like breathing, yawning, chewing. It triggers the fight or flight response, which, if memory serves, is the amygdala. They call it a amygdala hijack. I hope I'm getting that right, or I'm going to sound like an idiot for the rest of this. But I always thought that sounded cool. The amygdala hijack. That'd be a cool band name, or wrestling move or something. It's a work in progress. If I haven't looked it up, honestly, I haven't looked it up to see if it's already the name of something. Usually, if I think of something, one of the other 7-8 billion people one of the other people on this planet have thought of it first. Shockingly, that the amygdala is where that fight or flight response is triggered. But yeah, it triggers like an anger or a desire to escape. So that's like hardcore reaction, not just like where my shoulders go up or like my head goes down, or even both, and you just kind of scrunch up and you're like, ooh, I don't want to hear that again. I'm still on the it's an age thing. I still think the sounds thing is an age thing. Whether or not it actually is, until proven or told otherwise, I'm going to say it's an age thing. As for this misophonia, that's something entirely new. They told me about it after I sent them a video of me playing with the insides of a pumpkin with my hand, just because I was telling them that I was doing the pumpkin carving thing. That's topical. That was 3 weeks ago. I sent them the video, and they're like, "Oh, like that sucked. Like that sounds awful. Like I've got this misophonia." And then I just finished uploading a video of me taking a bite out of the pumpkin rind. Is that what it is? Because I said it was an activity that I could really sink my teeth into. Some of you may have seen that video. It was really funny. But after I posted that, and then I read their message of like, "Hey, this sucks." Politely, of course. They weren't upset about it, at least not with me, because I didn't know. Thankfully, they weren't mad with me. And I was like, "Hey, like, don't watch this video or the next one where I put some of the seeds and like other gross stuff in my mouth." I said, "Yeah, just don't look at those videos. for the next like 24 hours till they expire or whatever. Don't watch that. And they were like, oh, tight. Thanks for the heads up. But I thought it was neat to kind of, there's a word for it. Yeah, it's always fun to learn for the most part. And what I'd be more interested in like what everybody else has been up to over this time because I know what I've been up to. A whole lot of nada for the most part. Just trying to get my feet back on the ground and get this going again. I guess now that it's winter, the great equalizer, because everyone's mood typically rides like a 7 or an 8 or a 9, at least as far as the people that I interact with in a day, as where I'm generally around like a 3 or a 4. But once that snow hits, I'm a big winter guy. So that takes me up to like a 6 or a 7 and it brings them down to like a 5 or a 6. So it's winter's the great equalizer until December. Then everyone gets stoked about Christmas and stuff. Maybe one day I won't be such a Scrooge, I guess, in the holiday season. But for now, that's kind of the way it is. I'm a fan of just giving, every other time of year. I don't need a special day for it. It creates too much pressure. There's an expectation that's set. And I think that's what makes it much more special to get stuff for other people outside of, the set holidays, the 2, 3, 4 times a year. Like birthdays, I kind of get, but I'm not a big birthday fan for myself. I respect it if other people get excited for it, but just not for me. It's just another day, We're getting older all the time. Whether or not you're getting younger in your mind, I think's the key thing there. Whatever you can do to remain younger in your mind is key, I think, in the grand scheme. Like, I don't know what listening to this does, but I know talking and just getting it out, just getting anything out, keeps that mind working. Mostly, just keeps you younger while the earth keeps spinning into the great unknown. Did you guys know that the planet is coming up on 8 billion people? That is gross. I don't remember when it crossed over 7, but I vaguely remember 6. 6 billion people used to be what it was, and that was ridiculous. A ridiculous amount of people to try to imagine. I've contributed to the number a little bit more than others, but definitely not as much as some. Goodness gracious. That 8 billion. Could you imagine 8 billion anything? Like, what's 8 billion of something that wouldn't be ridiculous? I think 8 billion sand particles, like they're sand grains, sorry. Like, I think that would be kind of normal. Like, that's, sand, cool. Like, even 8 billion little grains of rice. I think even that would be a ton. I think 8 billion singular rice grains would be tons. Not literally, but figuratively would be tons. 8 billion, you can do the atoms, molecules game. Maybe that is lots. I don't know. That's not my area of expertise, nor do I claim it to be. 8 billion. Like, how long would 8 billion, seconds? That's probably simple math I could calculate. I'm not going to now, because then I have no content to follow up with you guys next time. I know the 1 billionth, I guess I don't know. I think its billionth second happens sometimes in your 30s, 32 years, or 1 billionth minute. Probably seconds. Billion is a ton, dude. So I guess by that math, you can have your 2 billionth by like 64, somewhere in there. So if there's any almost 64-year-olds out there, run the math. Maybe be aware of your 2 billionth second, and if there's anybody almost 32 out there, again, bang out that math. Maybe wait till next week. Maybe I'll do the math for you. But yeah, be aware. Try to figure out what time of day you were born, if you don't already know. And then be aware of that moment, because people are stoked for just seeing the clock randomly and it says 11:11 or 5:55 or something like that. Could you imagine seeing the clock and knowing that that's your billionth second of being alive? Where's that party? I think that's more unique than a birth. What, you celebrate the day of your birth every year. I think the billionth, that happens once, right? And then your 2 billionth, 2 times that age later, presumably, again, didn't do the math, that would another time to celebrate. Take a photograph or something. A video, and then you can look at it and be like, oh, that's me at 1 billion seconds. Here's me at 2 billion seconds. Now, that's what it feels like, looking back through the generations in photographs. The further back you go, the less photos there is. A couple generations down the road, you flip books, you're going to be able to take those photos and then create the world's largest flip book of 1 year of somebody's life, of you're going to get every day. Yeah, I don't know. I don't recall how many images of me with missing teeth there is, but I know of my kids, there's a photo every time they lose a tooth. So you can check the date they lost the tooth and what they looked like when said tooth was gone. Kind of crazy. Maybe one day everything's just going to be captured on video, which would be super interesting. Because then every day would be like a sitcom. Would people put more thought into how they dress? Would people... I think I'd double down on the cartoon look, where you just own the same shirt, the same pants, same shoes, socks, hair the same way every day. I think that would be the move. Is just, you wouldn't be able to put a timestamp on anything because you're always, the same. You're kind of growing younger in your mind if you're living that way. If you're wearing the same thing every day. Cartoon characters are perpetually the same age. They're in the same grade forever. Sometimes they do. I think The Simpsons, they had them go up a grade, which was nutty looking back on it. I haven't watched The Simpsons in a while, but I wonder if they continued that. I wonder if they carried that forward. They went, Lisa went from 4th to 5th grade. Is she in 5th grade still? Or did they kick her back to the 4th? It's been so long since I've watched. I really don't know. If anybody knows, drop a comment. It's below that like button. Maybe hit it. Yeah, I think that'd be the move. I already do my hair generally the same every day. Does everybody do their hair the same every day? I want to hear about that too. Throw that in the comments below that subscribe button. Let me know. That'd be interesting. And yeah, what else? You guys want a shout out? Let me know. Hit me up. You want to let me know about your hair or The Simpsons or anything else? If you'd like me to inform the people, like that misophonia, that That was super cool. And now hopefully you guys out there in the ether are now aware. And next time you get triggered by a sound or you make a weird sound and somebody gets, visibly, a little fired up about it, maybe they're misophonic. Miso nope, not going to say it. Well, if you guys had a good time, that's awesome. If you didn't, sorry. I'm rusty. I'm rusty. Come back next time when we talk about more useful things. Psych.